Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for top income earner, Eagle Distributor, Mr. Jordan Adler.
Okay. What? How many of you get how big this is? I got to ask a question. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to see all of you, but I got to ask a question. I want you to be completely, totally honest with me. Completely honest with me. Will you do that? How many of you, raise your hand, get the full implication of Sendcere and how big it is? Raise your hand, honestly. All right. How many of you kind of get it? You know it's big, but you're not really sure how. Be honest, raise your hand. Okay, probably about a third of you. How many of you at this point, be honest, at this point, you don't see it. You're not sure how you see the implications of Sendcere. You're almost embarrassed to raise your hand, but do it. Okay, there's a few of you. Yeah. What I'm going to try and do here over the next few minutes is I'm going to try and give you a sense of how massive this one announcement is, Sendcere. Now, there's other things that have been announced this weekend. And you know, we always talk about, every network marketing company talks about game changer. This is a game changer. They use that word. It's almost become cliche. They talk about history in the making. It's revolutionary. Lots of companies talk that way, and it almost becomes cliche, and it almost sounds hypey. But I got to tell you something. All hype aside, there has never been a company, forget network marketing, there's never been a company in history that has done what we're getting ready to do. Never been a company in history. Now I want to start off with something. I was walking from the convention center back to the hotel yesterday, and I ran into Sean Barklow, who's very close to executive in SendOutCards. And he was with his daughter, Katie, who's 22 years old. He brought her to the convention this year. And I asked her, what is this Sendcere? Like, how do you see it? As a 22-year-old, how do you see Sendcere? And how do you see it, you know, like the company? Like, how is SendOutCards different today? Because she's been around SendOutCards for a few years, growing up with it. How do you see it being different today with the launch of Sendcere? And I asked her that question. And then I asked her again. I ran into her again. And then I said, would you share that with everybody so that they could hear the perception or the perspective of a 22-year-old as it relates to this? And I'm going to actually put her on camera. She's over here, Roger. Where are you, Roger? Oh, Roger? Roger was going to have a camera for me. Okay. Well, I'll just keep going. Maybe we'll get back to that. All right. Okay. Hey, do we have a microphone? Do we have a microphone? Can we get her up on stage real quick, Katie? Come on up here real quick. Thanks. Thanks, Whitney. You didn't know you were going to have to do this, did you? So, Katie, when I was out there on the street and I said, what do you think of this Sendcere and how do you see it being different? How is SendOutCards different today? So, there you go.
Well, I think that it's going to relate to my generation because, well, this morning when I woke up, the first thing I did was roll over, get my phone, check all of my social media things, and I thought, well, if this is on a social media thing, it's going to push my generation to start sending cards because we're not used to the send cards for birthdays. We're all post a picture on Instagram, tweet to the person, and I just think it's going to push our generation to send cards and understand SendOutCards.
Excellent. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's hear it for Katie. See, we are now taking SendOutCards to the people where they are. Sit around that was great, Katie. Sit around any dinner table anywhere in the country, and half the people sitting at the table, I don't care where you are, they're on their phones. And you know what they're doing on their phones? They're checking their social media. And we're going to talk about that. Whether we like it or not, we can't change that trend. It's moving in that direction. Everyone's doing it, including the people that don't like it. Cody called me 15 months ago, and he had been spending time with Matt Barros, who won the MVP for SendOutCards, most valuable player for SendOutCards. yesterday. And he called me on the phone, and he said, Jordan, I want to run an idea by you. And when he told me what he was considering doing, or what he believed we were going to be moving in this direction, you guys have no idea how excited I got. And I'm going to tell you why. I believe, when the wheel was invented, and I don't know exactly when it was invented, and I don't know who invented it, but it changed everything, wouldn't you agree? The automobile changed everything. Electricity changed everything. The computer, you can't dispute that it changed everything. It changed the way the world interacted. It changed the way we did business. The smartphone changed everything. Social media changed everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, Sendcere is not just a product launch. It's a product that with SendOutCards changes everything. And it's exponential versus incremental. It's multi-dimensional versus linear. Think about this. Think about the nature of social media. It's the difference between a straight line between 2 points and a point with lines radiated out in infinite numbers of directions from that point, connected to other points that have infinite number of lines radiating out from that point. SendOutCards, as amazing as it is, it's linear. We send a card, it goes to somebody. Now you can send a campaign, true, but it doesn't network with the network. So SendOutCards is being redefined as a company. It's a pre-launch, you guys. We're in a pre-launch right now because it hasn't fully been launched. We're a new company. Sendcere offers us the opportunity for a multi-dimensional, multi-directional company. Now let's talk about, we've got 3 areas of leverage in SendOutCards today. Up until this announcement, there were 2. I believe that the third area of leverage that I'm going to talk about is one that is more powerful than the others because it magnifies exponentially the first 2. Did you follow me? So the third area of leverage that I'm going to talk about is more powerful than the first 2. And the third area, we didn't have it until this weekend. It's more power than the first 2 because it magnifies exponentially the first 2. That's important. Listen here now. The first area of leverage is the area or the element of heart, the heart. Because when we send out positives into the world, it comes back what? Come on, you guys. Tenfold. So that's an element of leverage, right? The area of the heart, the element of the heart. And there's no other company in the world that does it better than SendOutCards. That's the first one. Now let's talk about the second element of leverage. The second element of leverage is the element of network marketing. Because you get to sponsor a new distributor, help that distributor to get started, and they get customers, and that's leverage because that produces an income stream, it produces a revenue stream. And they can then go sponsor new distributors, which produces additional leverage. So that's the second area of leverage is network marketing. And the one thing we cannot forget is that each one plays on the other. So the way to build your business has not changed. We still, regardless of how exciting and dynamic and multidimensional Sendcere is, we must still activate splash packs and show people the videos, help them send a card, and sign them up as distributors. We have to do that. That's the second area of leverage, and it's magnified by the third one. It's magnified exponentially by the third one. The third element of leverage is the area of Sendcere, social media. It allows us to magnify and exponentially expand our reach. In terms of reach, let me ask you a question, another question for you. In terms of reach, which is more powerful? In terms of reach, which is more powerful? A text message or Facebook? Rosie? Texting or Facebook? Facebook is more powerful in terms of leverage. I got to share a funny story with you. So about 5 days ago, some of you will remember this, That's good right there, Rosie. About 5 days ago, some of you will remember this, I put a message on Facebook and I said, what's the difference between texting and Facebook? I put that on Facebook. And about half the people that responded said texting. Believe it or not, they said texting is more powerful and better than Facebook. But they answered me on Facebook. And they answered me within 3 minutes. Come on, you guys. I don't know what SendOutCards is worth as a company. I mean, you could have analysts sit down and figure it all out, but let's just say that SendOutCards as a company is worth $100 million. Let's just say. If SendOutCards as a company is worth $100 million, I believe the day that we launch Sendcere, we're worth $1 billion. And I'm going to tell you why. 3 words: reach, engagement, and addiction. Reach, engagement, and addiction. Let's talk about what makes Facebook and other social media outlets so powerful and so successful. Let's talk about what makes them so powerful and so successful. The first is our need to be connected, to feel connected with everyone and everything. Yes, SendOutCards gives us a feeling of connection when we send a card, but we didn't have the element of being connected to everyone and everything through SendOutCards. Facebook does that for us, right? But that's the first thing that makes Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter. That's the first element that makes that work. How is it that these companies went so viral that they could sign up hundreds of millions of users in 2 or 3 years? The first is that feeling of connectedness with everyone. Let's talk about the second thing. The second thing is a need to see what others are doing. Now, we are voyeurs. And I know a third of you just said to yourself as I said that, I'm not a voyeur. You're going like this: I'm not a voyeur. Right? We want to see into the lives of other people. SendOutCards doesn't give us the ability to do that right now. We're voyeurs. What's the third thing? The need to be famous. I don't need to be famous as you're posting the picture of you and the famous person that you happen to run into and you photobombed and you're posting it on Facebook. Did you see that picture of me with whoever? Yeah. The need to be validated. This is hilarious. This one's hilarious. The need to be validated. I don't need validation. How many likes did I get today? And then you're bragging about, I got 54 likes on that post. I don't need to be validated. But if you think about it, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, mostly Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook, all those sites have these elements. We didn't have those elements. The need for immediacy. The need for immediacy. Veruca Salt. Veruca Salt. Katie, do you know who Veruca Salt is? Yeah? How many of you know who Veruca Salt is? What movie? What movie? Yeah, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In fact, one of my favorite lines in that movie, and this is totally off track, but it completely applies to what we do. If you want to view paradise, Gene Wilder sings this. Willy Wonka, or Willy, was it Willy or? Yeah, sings it in the movie. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it, you can change the world. There's nothing to it. Veruca Salt says, I want it now. And then she dies. We're laughing about a little girl dying, all right? But we live in a society where people want instant. And yes, when we send a card, that has a huge impact when somebody opens it. In fact, I have to tell you, a lot of you guys know my dad went into the hospital with the heart. He had a heart attack. Actually, had many heart attacks and didn't know it. and they can't operate on him. His heart's too damaged, but he's comfortable. He's in good spirits. I talked to him this morning, but thanks to you guys, he got a box, and it came, actually he got it, the box of cards today, and Megan sent it to him in a Bed Bath & Beyond box. So I called him this morning and I said, Dad, have you opened the box yet? And he said, no, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. And I said, what? He said, pillowcases and sheets. This morning he said that. So he's in for a little surprise when he opens the box. But SendOutCards didn't have that instant gratification until Sendcere. So let's look at this. Now, here's where I want you to really step back, suspend all of your beliefs, and take a look at these numbers for just a minute. Facebook, 1 billion users. You think the people that own Facebook and the investors make a lot of residuals? Instagram, 100 million users. Pinterest, 70 million users. Twitter, 300 million users. SendOutCards, 624,000. Now why? We got a great product. People love our product. I believe it has to do with reach. It has to do with addiction. It has to do with the ability to connect with lots of people quickly. And Sendcere will allow us to do it. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you is the thing that nobody else in the history of business has done. And I want to thank Matt and Cody for the ideas, putting this together, and then the amazing programming team for pulling this off. But I have to tell you, yeah, let's give a hand for them, because whether you see it or not, things are about to change. There's no network marketing company in the world that has done anything close to what this company is doing. No, nobody. Take a look. All these things have caused Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest to explode. Hundreds of millions of users within a few short years. Until now, we didn't have those things. When this product officially gets launched, we have all of them. Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. You can share it, you can tag it, you can like it, you can pin it, you can save it, but you can't send it. Now, how many of you are excited about that? Yeah, let's hear it for that one. And you know what? And we get paid. Yes. So what do you do now? What do you do now? If you will activate one Splash Pack account a day, if you will activate one Splash Pack account a day, that means finding somebody that will try SendOutCards. It's a conversation that goes like this. Would you try SendOutCards for me? Just try it out once. It won't cost you anything. You don't even need to give me your credit card. I'd like to set up an account for you to try. Oh, and by the way, the only thing I ask for you is that you allow me to show you how to use it. I'm going to walk you through sending your first card, and I'm going to show you less than 10 minutes of video. Would you do that? You want to do that? Sure. Do one of those a day. And you know what's going to happen? If you do one a day for 30 days, the numbers will fluctuate a little bit, but your average will be, you're going to get an average 3 distributors a month, personally sponsored, 6 customers, personal, and you teach your team to do the same thing. That's the plan. There's nothing more to it. That is the plan. It's time to expand your dreams. You know what? A percentage of you in this room have been around for a while, and you've kind of set your bar. You've kind of looked at the history, and you've been around for a while, and you've made a certain amount of money. Maybe your residual check's $50 or $100 or a couple $100 a month, and you've pretty much resigned yourself to that's just the way it is. It's not. It's a new game, starting over. It's time to raise the bar. It's time to stop shrinking your dreams down to meet your income and begin to expand your dreams and expand your income to meet your dreams. Let's do that. It's time to compress time frames. By the way, we will, with what I've described today, we will be able to do within a year what it took us 10 years to do in the past. It's time to compress your time frames. If you were planning on doing it in a year, do it in a month. If you were planning on doing it in a month, do it in a week. If you were planning on doing it in a week, do it in a day. And if you were planning on doing it in a day, do it in an hour. With this program, with the leverage that we have today, that no other company on the planet has, you can do it. Thank you very much. Thanks.